Hi, here we have a Pedestal phone from France. It's a very early example. Don't know the exact date, but it does go back quite a few years. This particular instrument was made by a very famous name whose roots were actually in America. Have a look down at the base. You can see the name Thomson Houston of Paris. Now Thomson Houston, at least Thomson, worked for Edison, the forerunner of GE. And it's interesting to note that in England it was called BTH, British Thomson Houston, and in France it was called Thomson Houston. And the trademark, which I cannot show you on this particular phone because it's actually hidden behind the transmitter, is the ring with the little loops going in. With this one it's got TH. So anyhow, getting back to the phone, it's an early form of what the English would call a candlestick phone. The receiver and transmitter is a one-piece job. They called it a combine. The earpiece and the trumpet part for the transmitter. So it was a phone that was in advance of its years. The little hook at the top, you put the handset down on it, it makes contact. This phone hasn't got a dial. What you have got is a bell. I think it may have been possible, and I'm surmising here, someone else out there would probably know and tell me whether I'm right or wrong, but it looks as though that bell could be taken off and a dial could have been fitted. Now I should point out that these early phones often didn't have the bell built in. It was housed in a bell box which was outside, or a subset. This one has the bell set built in, which would need auxiliary equipment, capacitor and the like, which you could have fitted in the base. It's not there in this case. This is very basic. It's not a working phone, which is a pity. It probably could be got working, but I haven't bothered. But a little point that I can mention, these phones, as I say, didn't have, or in some cases didn't have a bell. The bell would be separate in a bell box or a subset, and they would have had also what is known as an induction coil, and that helped the speech. It was to balance the speech to the line voltage or the current, and they did help the speech, and they were really essential. It was a modiformed type of transformer. It's called an anti-side tone induction coil. And all the later phones, the English 706, the 332s, all the American phones, they all had these to improve the speech and transmission and controlled the actual current going through the transmitter. Anyhow, less of the technical stuff. Have a little look at it. This little phone that turned up on eBay. It's one I hadn't got, and obviously it was one for the collection. So there it is. They did make these in wood, painted black. They're all basically the same. Sometimes you would have an additional hook coming out the side where you had just a receiver. A lot of French phones you see this where there is an additional receiver. It was called a mother-in-law's receiver, so if anyone was being nosy, they could use that to listen in to the actual conversation. Anyhow, once again, thanks for looking. Any comments please make, any questions please ask. Once again, many thanks. Please subscribe, and thank you again. Thank you.